Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm just going to go through and I'm painting Rapunzel from Disney's Tangled. And today is day 9 of Artmas. We're almost at the end. I only have 3 more days left of Artmas, which is both exciting and kind of sad. But at the same time, I'm sort of like done with Artmas. I'm done with having to upload every single day for 12 days straight, and I don't know, I think it's been a fun, cool little challenge for myself to see how often I can upload and if I could even do this. But yeah, I don't know, I also feel like it's sort of sad just since like I'm having fun doing art and uploading it out every single day, so yeah, it's definitely been quite a little journey with Artmas. And yeah, we'll just start talking about the piece, I guess. So originally for this sketch, I was just like sketching in my sketchbook, and I wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to draw Rapunzel, and I don't know if she is my favorite princess from Disney, but I don't know, I feel like she probably is. I'm not too sure. I don't really want to say she's my favorite, but at the same time I feel like she probably is my favorite since it's like one of the movies I watch quite frequently. So, but I also don't want to like say she's my favorite just since, I don't know, they're always coming out with new princesses, so, but I guess by then we'll see if it changes. But yeah, I just sort of wanted to draw her sort of just like swinging on her hair. I know it's like super unrealistic, but the whole movie with her hair anyway is unrealistic, so I was just like, I want to draw this, so I'm going to draw this. So yeah, usually in the movie she has like someone pulling on her hair to get up to the tower or whatever, and I just wanted to sort of replicate that, but she's like swinging out in the open on her own hair. And part of me wishes I did a background for this, like all I really did was draw the tree branches and a rock, but I definitely was nervous to do a background for this. Recently I started to get back into trying to use masking fluid, that's what it's called, and I've had a really awful relationship with masking fluid. In the past, it has definitely, I'd say, ruined pieces of my art, just since it pulled up some of the watercolor paper, and then once you ruin the watercolor paper, it's so hard to just like put watercolor on top of it again, and for it to function the way that it should function. And so I was just so hesitant to use it with this piece that I decided that I just wouldn't, and that I would eventually, when I get a scanner, scan this piece. That way I at least have what it was beforehand, and then if I want I can try adding a background afterwards and then just seeing how that works, or maybe even doing a background digitally. But since this piece I've used masking fluid again, and it was on a piece that was I'd say on like the same level difficulty of this one. You're gonna see it on the last day of Artmas, but I was so nervous to use it for that piece, but I tried things differently with the masking fluid. I for sure went through and made sure there wasn't like any major clumps that I'd be putting on the artwork piece, and then I also layered it, I think 2 or 3 times more than what I normally did with masking fluid, and then it seemed like it worked like it should work with masking fluid. It didn't, I think like one tiny little spot it pulled up some of the paper, but it wasn't like super noticeable, and it just worked a lot better than the awful times that I had used masking fluid in the past. So hopefully from now on I can start using it more confidently. and then I won't feel like I'm gonna ruin my piece of art by using this masking fluid. So yeah. With this piece, I did go through and I used watercolors for the majority of it, but I decided, well, I think like during like doing her dress, I originally was just gonna go through and just leave sort of, I guess, like trimmings or whatever of the pieces white. That way I could go back over it with watercolors the color it was supposed to be. But I decided actually to just paint her whole skirt the color it should be, and then I went through with acrylics and then brought back the trimming around her dress and stuff with acrylics, which I actually quite enjoyed. I was definitely nervous to use acrylics with watercolors since I haven't done that before. I think really the only time I've done that is like if I'm trying to cover up like a major mistake, like say I was coloring something and I went completely outside of the lines, so then I take like white acrylic and just like cover that up. So that's really the only times I've ever used acrylics. I've never used acrylics actually like on a piece like this on top of watercolors, and it actually turned out quite nice. I really enjoyed the way that the acrylics looked with the watercolors, and I don't think it like took away from the piece at all or was too distracting. And it definitely helped me with coloring it as well, because again, I wasn't going to use like masking fluid to block out the trimming around her dress. And so it was definitely difficult to sort of shade in her dress when you have so much white space you're trying to save, so that you could just go over that with the color you wanted to use. So I'm glad I decided to just go through and just do her whole wash of color first with watercolor and then using the acrylic paint on top of it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this piece just because I'm trying to get more into like doing full body pieces. And I just really like the way of like her swinging and stuff and drawing the dress, and the dress was so much detail, and it was a lot to do, especially again that trimming. It's like you don't really understand how detailed the dress is until you're actually sitting looking at a reference of this and you're like, holy, they did this for the movie, like this is a lot. And yeah, it's so interesting to actually sit down and look at a reference of something and noticing all these details that you don't normally like notice super well unless you're like looking at a reference. And I thought that that was really cool because I never knew her dress was like so detailed as it is. And she also has like this intricate pattern on like the middle part of her skirt from like down from her corset. But I decided not to like do a pattern for that just because it was really difficult to see what the pattern looked like from the references I had. It's just such a close color to the dress color that I just could not figure out like how it should look, and I didn't really want to put it in there and like mess it up, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if I should have just like went for that or not. Part of me feels like I should have, but you know, I didn't do it, and I think that's okay. I think I probably would have regretted doing it if I did try to do that pattern, just because it was so detailed and so difficult that I don't think it would have turned out that nicely. And yeah, originally I wasn't planning on putting like acrylic on her corset strings, just since I thought it might look a little bit funny, but when I was looking at it and I had drawn it in like the brown color that I normally draw it in, and I thought that if I didn't do it in the acrylics it wouldn't look as similar as it does to her in the movie. So I decided to just go through with the acrylics like I did with everything else and just do that, and I really enjoyed that I did that. I just think it pops a little bit, and like the different texture from the acrylic to the watercolor was super nice. And yeah, so I'm just going through right now and just doing the line art for the piece. And I think definitely, even though her outfit was like super hard to draw and like all the details and everything, I still think her hair was probably the most difficult to do. And I think it was the most difficult to do because I just had to like sort of constantly sit down and be like, okay, this is where the light source is coming from, and you have to shade it this way, but her hair is also overlapping over here, so the here needs to be darker, and you just like kind of constantly had to keep thinking, okay, it's overlapping, you have to make it darker here, but it should be light here. And yeah, that was just super difficult to like have to constantly think that way and think of where the shading should exactly be. And so that's why I think her hair was probably the most difficult. I still like quite enjoyed drawing the hair, like I just enjoy inking hair and sitting here and like deciding how it should look and how it should be like tied up on the tree branches and stuff. And yeah, I still think it was a lot of fun, just I think that was the most difficult part for it as well. But yeah, I think her hair might be a little bit too dark. I don't know, I feel like it's a little more golden than what it is in like the movie. So I kind of wish it wasn't as golden and just a little bit more lighter in some spots, but can't really fix that now that you've lost like the white of the paper with watercolors. You can't really lighten it afterwards. I guess I could do it like digitally eventually, but I don't know if I'll even get around to that. I'm not sure if I could even like make this a print or not, just since I know there's a lot of stuff I have to look into about prints and stuff, and that's something I'm going to be looking more into in like the new year, just since one of the things I want to do is start getting into making my own prints and that. So yeah, I don't know, I think I like this piece. I just wish I would have went through and done a background to it. I think a background probably would have helped finish this piece off a little more. But I still enjoy it. I think I need to get out of like this headspace of I'm going to ruin art if I do a background, because like I'm not going to get better with backgrounds if I'm not pushing myself to do things. And yeah, maybe that's something I should work on in the new year. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it for like this drawing. For the rest of it, I'm pretty much just inking it and inking all of the little details in her dress. I definitely need to get a new ink pen. I can feel it running out, and it's not as like juicy as the other ones that I use, and so I'm thinking I should probably do that before it dies. It's just so difficult because I don't know if the brown micron pens like come in packs by themselves or if I can even buy it by itself. I'll definitely have to look into that because I rely on this one so much. I just don't like brown or black micron pens that much. And I wish like my regular like dip inks I could use for this stuff, but I feel like I would just mess it up. Even though I practiced with Inktober for so long, I still don't think it would be good enough for me to use on like, actual art. But yeah, I'm just going through with my white gel pen now and just like highlighting details. I sort of highlighted the string for her corset so that you could see which piece was over top of another piece and so forth. And then just going through with her hair, I was just adding a couple like little light white strands to like the very blonde parts of her hair, and then just a couple in like the darker parts as well. And then I just cleaned up her white ruffles, since I did sort of put a little bit of watercolor on top of that as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Artmas Day 10, I believe. So thanks so much for watching. Bye!